What's up guys, Block FPL here. Welcome back to another Fantasy Premier League video. This time let's talk about double game week 25 as well as double game week 26, blank game week 29, and I also expect there to be at least one double in 27 and 28. And don't forget, if you like the video, to like and subscribe. In case you don't know, my subscribers are actually statistically less likely to get struck by lightning and die. That's happened to 0 of my subscribers, and it's happened to other people. So feel free to subscribe for your own safety. With that said, let's get into right away the best options for double game week 25. There's only there's one fixture. There's 2 teams that double this game week, and that's Leeds and Southampton. For me, the top 5 options are as follows. Number 1 is Bamford. He's going to be my captain. I have him. I'm very happy to have him. Number 2 is Dallas, Leeds' best defender, very attacking, plays center mid a lot of times, simply unmatchable threat. The third option is the only Southampton player, and that's Ings. I'm actually going to transfer him in. I'm planning on doing that anyway for Antonio. I don't trust any of the other Southampton options simply because, well, Adams is a rotation risk. None of their midfielders really have been getting any attacking returns recently or showing any threat, and they haven't been able to defend well at all. So it is what it is. Their only option is Ings, but I think he's a great option. And the 4th and 5th options are, Rafinha and Harrison. Now, Rafinha has been getting very consistent returns recently, but I still would put him just a little bit lower than Ings. He's not the talisman. He's not going to be on penalties. If Leeds do well, I could see it being without Rafinha doing well, and that's not the case for people like Bamford and Ings, I would say. So, yes, those are my top 5 options. Harrison's on there as well. Harrison, I really like him as a player. It doesn't always contribute to fantasy points, but 3 goals in the last 5. I think he's got a great strike of the ball on him, so I quite like him. A little bit more sub-risk than some of the other players, though. So I think those are pretty straightforward. Like, I don't really have to explain too much into those. The one thing I will say is that Leeds, if we pull up Ben Creelan's post here, we can see that Leeds will play Fulham in blank game week 29. So if that fits your strategy, let's say you don't have a free hit left, or you're not planning on using the free hit in double game week or blank game week 29. It's certainly not a double game week. So we see only 3 fixtures: Brighton, Newcastle, Fulham, Leeds, and West Ham, Arsenal. Now Tottenham and Everton, or is it Aston Villa? Tottenham and Aston Villa will likely be added to this, so there will probably be 4 fixtures here. With that in mind, this is good enough, in my opinion, to free hit with. Like, there are a couple things to attack, some Son, Kane, maybe Aubameyang, triple up on Leeds against Fulham. I'm not really sure what defenders I would go with in this scenario, but right now that's my free hit plan, and I will simply manage the doubles, in other ways. But if you want players that play in this game week, you're going to have to get a lot of Villa, a lot of Leeds, probably some West Ham, but they don't really have any doubles, so I wouldn't say they're the best options. But Leeds, Villa, and Tottenham, you may even want 3 of each, and then maybe like Saka and Souček, and then there you go. You're pretty close to having 11 players. Those are probably like the most relevant FPL options that you want to fill your team up with if you're not planning on free hitting in game week 29. And I would say that's pretty straightforward as well. Of course, Colin Wilson's also in there. There's probably not really any Brighton players you'd want. And maybe you could take upon on somebody like Lookman from Fulham, who's a quality player. So those are the best options for 29, and Leeds sort of coincide with both there, so it's nice if you're looking to bring them in. I've already transferred in Dallas this week, even though I don't plan to use him double game week 29, or I'll free hit, so I could bring him in anyway. But it's simply because he's too good. I can't ignore him on this double game week. And he also has some decent fixtures along the way, and that's something that we always have to keep in mind. Like, don't just put all of our focus on the double game weeks. Like, it doesn't matter if they play, Man City and Chelsea. That's pretty tough, right? But Aston Villa, West Ham, and then in the blank game week itself, they play Fulham. After that, they play Sheffield United. So it's not like a run of terrible fixtures. If we have to throw him in there, he's a good enough player where we can easily slot him in single game week positions. So moving on, now double game week 26, it's going to be huge. Like, in my opinion, you don't really have to plan that much for it. You will probably have a decent amount of double game week players in this. Now my head will probably block some of this chart, but all the teams that have a double game week 26 will be most likely, this is very likely according to Ben Creelan, 95 to 99% chance. We have Man City, Aston Villa, Tottenham, Everton, Burnley, United, Crystal Palace, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, and then Wolves have a kind of likely double game week. And those are all the teams. Now, obviously, Man City, a lot of people have 3 of those guys. Tottenham, you probably at least have 1 maybe, and then Everton, Burnley, Manchester United are all pretty decently owned at the moment, as well as Liverpool, Salah. So I think it's relatively easy to fill up a team full of double game week players without free hitting here. So I'm definitely not going to free hit in this game week. Let's take a look at are there any confirmed fixtures for 26 yet? There aren't. And I think we're also looking at Fulham, West Brom, Sheffield United, and Southampton that will also have double game week 26s. I think those are just possible. I'm not necessarily going to say they're likely, but according to Ben Creelan, they're possible. So I would expect about half of those to happen. So with that said, I don't think Game Week 26 requires much planning. That's just the way I'm going to look at it. Now, obviously, once they're announced, if you have only 10 players, you're going to want to bring in that 11th player just to have a full set of double game week players. I think it's very beneficial to do that. But yeah, the best options for this double game week, if we take a look at these likely fixtures here, again, I'm probably blocking a lot of them. But obviously Man City, but you're not going to really have to transfer anybody in for that. Crystal Palace play Fulham and Manchester United, but I don't think that there's anybody I would really want to get from them. Vardy could become an option. Arsenal and Burnley, I could see him doing well in these fixtures. Liverpool plays Sheffield United and Chelsea. That's one great fixture and one not so great one. So I think Salah is about it with the way they're defending at the moment and attacking. Really, I think you probably hold their players, but I wouldn't bring any of them in. If you're really looking to bring somebody in, I'm not sure who it would be besides Man City. I think Aston Villa is right up there with them. With that said, I haven't been impressed by Aston Villa's attack recently. Jack Grealish basically hasn't been shooting at all. And this is one reason I made this video. I see a lot of people talk about selling Grealish. Well, unfortunately, this guy's going to double in 26, and he's probably going to double in one of 27 or 28 with Everton. And then in 29, he also has a fixture in that blank game week. So we're looking at in the next. So let's say he gets to double in 26 and 27. So we're looking at double, single. When a lot of people will just have double, single blank. So he gets an extra 2 fixtures in there, and that's very nice. So I think Grealish is a certain hold. He's not great. I think, for example, in this Game Week 25 matchup, he could be somebody that you look to bench simply because he hasn't been great, as I said. But I think you have to hold him at this point. We've sort of kept him through these times where he hasn't been great, but it's too late to sell him now. It may be too early to buy him as well, but I think it's definitely a hold. So for Game Week 26, there's just so many options. I'm not really going to make a list. And Game Week 29, again, there's so few options that I think it's pretty clear. But for the games in between there, we're looking at Aston Villa and Everton that could have a double in 27 or 28. And the obvious best players for that would be Watkins. Well, I would say Calvert-Lewin's number 1, Watkins is number 2. And then Grealish is number 3 as far as attackers go. Yes, I would put Watkins over Grealish simply because he's had more chances on goal recently. And besides that, as far as defenders go, I have Target, and I really like him. I think his attacking threat is there. Villa have defended in a weird way where they've ended up defending desperately in a lot of cases, but I still think that Target's a great option. Last game they played Brighton, and I put him first sub over somebody like Soufal that played Sheffield United simply because Brighton, they just can't finish, and that's another reason why I'm interested in free hitting in Game Week 29. We could see Brighton play Newcastle, and depending on how things go there, I could sneak in Newcastle's goalkeeper and a defender, and maybe go for the double Newcastle defense, or maybe double Brighton. But I think that game could be low scoring. I'm not exactly sure yet where I would go with defenders here, but hopefully one of these games really looks great for defenders by that time. So yeah, But anyway, back to what I was talking about. As far as defenders go, from Everton and Villa, I mean, it's really Digne and Target. I think those are the only two obvious options because Cash is a little bit too expensive, and some of the Villa center backs deal with rotations, and Mings is simply too much. So, yeah, I think those are all the standard options. And you know, I think it's pretty simple at this point. You hold players if they're decent and they have games in hand. If they have doubles coming up and it fits your strategy, you simply hold, even if you're not super happy with them. So I think that's the number one thing to keep in mind. Like for me, for example, I'm looking to get rid of Antonio. If we take a look at Antonio's fixtures, he's not planned to get any doubles. I don't think. There are no games in hand for him. He is going to play in the blank game week though, but for me, that doesn't fit my strategy. So considering the fact that they also play Tottenham, Man City, Leeds, Manchester United, Arsenal, Wolves, Leicester, Newcastle, Chelsea, those aren't the best fixtures. So for me, it's definitely Antonio to Ings. I'm just waiting in case of injury or a random triple game week announcement or whatever that could happen. So yeah, those are my current thoughts on the double game week thing. I think the most important thing for now is to get a little piece at least of the double game week 25 action with Bamford or Dallas or Rafinha or Ings. Because I think there could be some great scores there, and they are triple captaincy options. I think I'm going to pass for now, though. I should have triple captain Gundogan, but he's not going to play the second game. He's still got 19 points. Would have been a weird triple captaincy outcome, that's for sure. Anyway, I will see you guys next time, probably in the deadline stream, but who knows, maybe I would do a video before then. Anyway, I hope you guys have a good Game Week 25, just not as good as mine, and I will see you next time.